One of the questions I get a lot is, should I tithe while I'm paying off my debt? And this is not an easy question to answer, but in this book right here, Master Your Money, which is kind of a classic on biblical money management, Ron Blue, the author of it, has something that I think is pretty good to say. I like the way he wrote it. He says, I'm often asked whether couples in a heavy debt situation should tithe or not, and I have two thoughts regarding this. First of all, tithing is no more or less spiritual than debt repayment if you know that God owns it all. However, because God does own it all, the tithe as a priority is a statement of your recognition that God owns it all. In other words, I don't believe it's a yes-no question. Rather, it's a question of what is best relative to the individual and the circumstances. A person must, however, bear in mind two principles. Number one, God owns it all, and as a priority, giving is commanded in the Bible. The question of whether to use the tithe money to fund debt repayment is a very serious spiritual decision that can only be made with much prayer and godly counsel. Remember, faith requires a first step without fully understanding and without seeing how it's all going to work out. Getting out of debt requires elements very typical of the faith walk. In most cases for the Christian, it requires faith to even take the first step. So one of the problems that many Christians make is they compartmentalize their money and they think, well, I'll give God 2% or I'll give God 10%, but the rest is mine. But in reality, if we come back to the Bible, we learn that all of it is God's. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to have us give it all away. It's not normally what he leads us to do. But the point is that if he did, like, we should be in a position where we're willing, we're that open-handed that we can trust him, that he's going to provide for our needs if he did lead us down that path. So with Linda and I, in our particular situation, when we were paying off our debt, after praying about it, we not only felt like we were supposed to continue to tithe, but we actually felt like we were supposed to give more. And so for me personally, that was a pretty big challenge because I had run the numbers and I had figured out how long it was going to take. An increase in our giving was just going to slow that down, or at least according to my estimation. Looking back on it, I'm really glad that we obeyed and that we followed that leading where the Lord was leading us, because we ended up paying that debt off way faster, years faster than I had planned. And so even though it was completely counterintuitive and didn't make sense, God knew what he was doing, and that's what he led and asked us to do. So summing all this up, my advice to you is to take this to the Lord in prayer, see what he's leading you to do, and then obey. Do what he says. He knows better than you. And that is all for today. So if you found this helpful, we'd love it if you hit the like button to let us know. And hit the subscribe button if you want to hear more from Linda and I. And I will see you in the next video. Hey, thanks so much for watching the video. If you haven't yet taken our money mastery quiz, be sure to do that.
Yeah, it's just a super quick 2-minute quiz, and it's gonna help you understand how good you are with your money.
Yeah, and it's gonna provide a custom report giving you specific suggestions on how you can reach your financial goals up to 10 times faster. Head over to seedtime.com/quiz to get started now.